Welcome to On Texas Football. It's time for the day after second watch with Rod Babers, the former Texas Longhorn, former NFL player, watches the game a second time every Sunday morning and gives us his take. This episode brought to you by our friends over at Duck Camp and duckcamp.com. All right, Rod, initial take upon rewatch in this game.
Oh, man, I got to tell you, the first thing I took away was that the team finished the game in a very different place when they started the game. And it seems like everybody, pretty much everybody that I got a chance to watch and focused on got better throughout the game. And as some of the OU players and even the OU defense started to wear down, John Mateer started strong too. And then as the game wore on, probably the thumb swelled up, who knows? But he got worse throughout the game. The defensive front for Oklahoma, they got worse throughout the game. The reason is because Texas got better. And they wore down Oklahoma throughout that game. Were you talking about the Texas defense or the trenches for Texas? Or are you talking about Trey Wisner, Arch Manning? Everybody got better as the game went on. Nick Brooks is probably the prime example of it. He's probably the best example. Early on in the game, you got penalties. I mean, he's holding guys. He's out of position. He's off balance. And then by the end of that game, he's moving other human beings around and actually, playing at a really high level and helping Texas really engineer a great run game against one of the best defensive fronts in the country. That's what I took away, is that the team got better throughout that game and then finished as a fourth quarter game, and they imposed their will on Oklahoma. And that may be symbolic. I know you had the prediction that Texas was going to start 3-2, just like, they did. And then Oklahoma, I remember you saying in the preseason, would be the turning point. You said that was going to be the turning point in the season, and then they'll go on a run. Now, I don't know if they're going to go on the run. You said they'd be 10-2. Hopefully that is the run they go on. But you were right on the money saying that Oklahoma will be the turning point. It felt like it to me. It felt like a turning point for the offense, especially, and the run game, especially, and the offensive line, and Arch as well. I thought Arch really did have a moment where a calm presence almost took over him in that game of all games. And I think that's when the moments weren't too big for him. And everything starts to slow down for him, like Neo in the Matrix. And we'll get into it. But so much to talk about. It was one of the best and most satisfying rewatches I've had doing this.
Interesting. All right. We're going to do our advertising read real quickly. And then Rod has 4 points he wants to make. But first, let's tell folks about our sponsor, Each and Every Second Watch, brought to you by our friends over at Duck Camp. Duck Camp makes gear for folks who live for being out there, whether that's in a duck blind, out next to the Gulf Coast somewhere, or on the 40 acres for a Saturday kickoff. Born right here in Austin, Duck Camp builds best-in-class hunting and fishing apparel that works just as well for a full day in the field as it does for a long day of tailgating. From sun protection shirts that keep you cool during these early season scorchers to their iconic game series hats that feel like instant classics, Duck Camp gear is ready for football season, hunting season, and every season in between. Listen to this special offer they have right now. Use the promo code ONTEXAS25. That's ONTEXAS25 for 25% off your order. You won't get this anywhere else. ONTEXAS25 for 25% off your order. Go get out there, stay out there, and hook them. Shop Duck Camp at duckcamp.com. Rod B, I tell you what, the Longhorns, to your point, had a really good game plan, I thought. And I wanted to start with this. You said Sark modified the passing attack. How did Sark modify the passing attack? And I'm talking about what our pre-production notes here. You said that he had modified them.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, there was a lot of scrutiny, criticism about the passing game and getting Arch comfortable, him holding on to the football, right, on average of 3.2 seconds. That's one of the top 5 longest times to throw in all of college football. And, what the question was Sark going to modify the passing attack a little bit, try to get the ball out of his hands, get him in a rhythm, get him comfortable? There's no doubt he did. Now, Pro Football Focus has them taking with 3 passes of 20 yards or more down the field, but there were no deep shots There were no deep shots, vertical shots down the field. Those were over the middle of the field. I think Arch scramble drill, actually. And one of them was that Parker Livingstone deep out. Might have been the best damn throw we've seen from Arch as he's been here, evading a rusher and then rolling to his right and putting that ball absolutely on the money, on the line. But to me, I went and looked at the screen. I think there were 8 screens in the game. 6 of those came in the first 3 drives.
Ooh. They were trying to slow down the pass rush.
They were trying to slow down the pass rush and get the ball out of his hands. Remember on the first drive, there were like 3 screens early on. So I think Sark, I don't know if he'll admit it, but he did kind of modify the passing game from that standpoint, tried to get more easier completions for his quarterback. And I think it really showed when early on Texas had those third downs they had. And we'll get into third downs. They had some long third downs, 3rd and 23, 3rd and 30. It was ridiculous, 3rd and forever. And then after that, I think they had a 3rd and 10. And Sark started to go to some cheat codes to get his quarterback in a rhythm. When I say cheat codes, things you guys have heard me talk about all the time: targets to bunch, targets to motion. I've talked about these things being disproportionately more successful, all right, than other concepts in critical moments. Well, the first 2 third down conversions were both targets to motion and targets to bunch. Both were. It was DeAndre Moore was that target to bunch and target to motion, and a scramble drill attached to that, by the way, too. And then a Parker Livingstone 3rd and 1 where they motion him out, and then it's in a bunch. They motion him out in a bunch, and then they throw it to him, and it's a magnificent actually play design. And Arch puts it where only his guy could get it. But my point is to get his quarterback confident in those critical moments. He just used some cheat codes to get some easy completions. And there's nothing, I've talked about this before. Targets to motion, for those who don't know what it is, target to a player in motion prior to the snap or at the time of the snap. Throughout the years, just to give you the background of why it's so successful, you're talking about yards per attempt. This year, you're at 9.6 yards per attempt when you target players in motion. You got now over a 50% first down touchdown rate when you target player, when you target motion. Last year, you were at 29% first down touchdown rate. Year before that, you were at 23% explosive play rate, 30% explosive play rate in 2022 when targets to motion. Completion percentage is always high. It's right now, you're 12 of 16. Last year, you're at 75%, 78%, 80%, and 81% the last 4 years. So Sark knows he's got the same numbers I do, that it works a lot of the time. And I think that was intentional, deliberate, to scheme open easy completions for his young quarterback in those critical moments against the best third down defense in the country, by the way, where Brent Venables calling the plays. Let's not forget that. So Sark was like, I got to get deep in my bag and try to help my quarterback out. And I've talked all year about targets to bunch. Like, you've heard me say it a million times. I've talked about it a million times. I'm not going to go deep into it. It's just targeting players who are in closely clustered groups of receivers. Just in this game alone, they had he was 7 of 8, guys, targeting bunch formations. And the third down conversions, 50% third down conversion rate when you're targeting bunch. So in the last 2 games, you've had 20 targets to bunch. All right, averaging nearly 10 yards per attempt, but a 50% third down conversion percentage when you're targeting bunch. And think about it, a lot of those could be third and long situations. So Sark, he ain't listening to us. Well, maybe he is, but he just got the same. He's got the same data sample that I do. And by the way, this is the last 2 weeks. You'll get a power 4 opponent, so you know it works. This is not Sam Houston State, San Jose.
Right.
We're talking about power 4 opponents, legit high level caliber players. So that was interesting. And then after that, Arch got confident and got in the groove, and he didn't need the training wheels and cheat codes as much. Even in critical moments, they were doing straight drop back on him, Bobby, in third and longs, and Arch was out there dealing because you got to get your quarterback confident. Got to get him in a rhythm, get him in a groove. And I'll give Sark a lot of credit. He was doing his best to do that early in that game, whether it be screen game, whether it be the targets to bunch, targets to motion. He was trying to get his young quarterback in a rhythm. And I think at one point it clicked.
I got to say this. You made 2 points there: access to cheat codes as well as modifying the passing attack all together. But the biggest piece and the benefactor of it, him doing that, was Arch Manning and how well he played. You wrote in your text to me, he played extraordinarily well on third down in particular.
Yeah.
What was it that you saw from Arch on third down that made you say, wow, this may be a guy turning the corner?
Okay, first of all, it's the best third down defense in the country. So let's preface everything by saying that he's going up against the best third down defense. And there were 17 third downs total Texas faced on offense. And on 15 of those, he was either throwing the football or he was running the football. All right, out of those. And you converted 9 of those 15 where he was either running the football or throwing the football. Think about that. Like that was that 60% conversion rate with the ball in his hands on third down. Now, crazy thing about it, I did a Sunday school about this during the offseason. I looked at his 2 starts last year, and I was like, I want to see how he does on third and long situations. They call them kind of the butt naked drop backs because no cheat codes are going to really work. You just got to drop the guy back and hope your quarterback can go out there and make a play. And he was awesome in these situations last year. Texas ended up converting in third and longs in those 2 starts. He had over 50% conversion rate on those third and longs. He over 70% completion rate. I mean, he was 15 yards per attempt. He was fantastic. Like he was great. So he was money in those situations last year. But I figured it's the opponent, right? It's Mississippi State. It's ULM. You really can't count on that. In this game, in third and longs, Texas, there were him throwing the football. I'm just him throwing the football. So not the third downs where they ran the football, just third downs where he threw the football. And they weren't all third and longs, but some of them were. There were 12 such attempts on third down, just passing attempts on third down. He ended up converting, if you go look at that, 7 of the 12, they converted.
That's strong.
When he was throwing the football, he was 11 of 12 though. He found a way to get rid of the football. Like he basically, you had a negative play because I think you had a loss by Wisner on one of those throws, but you can tell his operation and his method, everything is starting to slow down for him, and his process is starting. In my opinion, he's starting to refine it. He like knows what he's looking for. That the check down came up, like the check down got you some third down conversions in this game simply because he decided I'm not gonna hold this football. No, I'm getting rid of this football. I got to check down. I'm taking the check down. And like twice, ended up being a big yards after the catch for Trey Wisner. I think that 19-yarder he had on there. By the way, that was a target to motion too. He was just throwing it out there. But he was magnificent, guys, on third down. He was 9.6 yards per attempt throwing the football on third down. Like I say, 11 of 12, 58% conversion rate. And on third and longs, 5 of 9. On third and longs.
Yeah. No, he look, he's growing up before our eyes. That's what I wrote today or this morning on Texas Football, Rod. I want to add one other piece. I thought one of his best plays, and that, look, he had a myriad of good plays. He really did. But one of the better and smarter plays of this game that was kind of hidden, I think, was the deep comeback to Ryan Wingo on a third and long to put Texas in field goal range. Wingo it was a comeback about 5 yards short of the first down.
Yep.
He wasn't going for broke. He was trying to get him in field goal range. It was on time, on the money, and they got the field goal out of it. Texas went up by a full touchdown. If he didn't complete that third down pass of about 15 yards, they're not in field goal range.
Totally agree.
It's still a 10-6 game. I felt like that was one of his better plays of the game because he wasn't, to your point about command and understanding, maybe, and that presence, he knew what he was trying to do.
Exactly.
And he went out and did it.
Yep.
It's different. All right. We're going to go to defense. I think we both agree we saw some growth out of not only Arch Manning, but the entire offense yesterday. Let's talk a little bit about defense because you wanted to talk about something you saw that PK did that was fundamentally different than what he had been doing earlier this year.
Yeah, I think PK was aggressive situationally. I don't think he was aggressive the entire time. If you go look at PFF, they have Texas blitzing, I believe, on 12 snaps in that game. Damn near half of those came on third down. So he was situationally in critical moments. PK was bringing the blitz, and I saw it early on in the game. Him blitzing on some, I guess you call them neutral downs, maybe second and medium and second and longs. Maybe he was bringing Taff on one of those. They end up actually converting kind of on a big play on one of those. But the point is, we saw a more aggressive PK than we've seen in a long time. Now, as the game went on and wore on, I think he realized there's only so much damage that material can do. So we're kind of rolling the dice, and we don't really have to. Their O-line is not great. They can't really pass protect. We can overwhelm them. And I think he realized I can do it with simulated pressures, and I can do it by keeping the too high shell on. But early on in the game, especially the first half, I think we saw a more aggressive PK with the blitz. And I'm hoping that maybe when you get into SEC play here, when you're going up against some more high-level quarterbacks that went, and by the way, there's going to be some times where those quarterbacks get hot. Remember, Mateer was hot early. He was hot early.
Yep.
Himself a little bit early. Well, you're gonna have to rattle their cage. You got to do something. You got to break tendency. You're gonna have to bring the blitz. You're gonna do something. Look at, obviously an exotic changeup. You got to do something to rattle that quarterback. I think PK did a really good job of rattling Mateer when he needed to and taking Mateer out of his game. And ultimately, I know that injury had a lot to do with that. But I thought we saw a more aggressive PK than we've seen in a while. The percentage of dropbacks, it wasn't the highest blitz rate, but it did tie the highest number of dropbacks where PK blitzed this season.
I got to ask you this, just overall, Texas now has not given up a touchdown to OU in 3 of 4 games. Yeah. 3 of the last 4 games, not a touchdown. OU did not even get into the red zone yesterday, Rod. Mm-hmm. Given when you played, when Josh Heupel came aboard and Mark Mangino and Mike Leach and guys like that were the offensive coordinator, and then it transitioned into a Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. Can you believe that 3 of the last 4 years this Texas defense has held OU out of the end zone, whether there's a backup quarterback or not? That is pretty dominant performance 3 out of 4 years for the Longhorns.
There's no, especially in a rivalry game like that.
Yeah, right? That is bizarre to me.
I totally agree with you. And I think, honestly, just talking about it from the OU side of things, you have to learn the lesson at one point, Brent Venables, that you need to invest in backup quarterback. You have to invest in a backup quarterback that runs the same system of the OC and play call that you're bringing in. Yeah, it's great to get the Dylan Gabriels, and then it's great to get the John Mateer, and those guys can transform your programs, no doubt. We've seen that, we've witnessed it. But then when they're not available, and you need somebody help you win 1-2 games in the SEC, you have to invest in backup. Texas has done a good job of it. I'll give Tech a lot of credit. Tech actually, they invested in the backup quarterback in the NIL revenue sharing era. There's really no excuse. You can keep them there. You just got to pay for them.
Yeah. To your point, you're gonna get hit and beat up a little bit in the SEC. Yeah. You just are.
Look at Ole Miss. Look at Ole Miss.
Yeah. Our Texas had to go through it with Arch Manning last week against Florida. I mean, it's gonna happen. But all in all, it was definitely an inspiring performance by the Longhorns, I thought, yesterday, Rod. And you could tell that on the television. One of the things that you and I were talking about in discussing prior to coming on here is Nick Brooks, and you were talking about him coming on and playing better and better as the game wore on. So did Brandon Baker. But I was captivated by Nick Brooks because he's the guy. I mentioned this. He's got some juice to him. He's the guy lifting Ryan Niblett up to the crowd.
Like a Lion King.
Yeah, he's showing everybody Ryan Niblett. He's doing some dances out there after they get a long gain. I mean, he was an interesting guy to watch. One guy or 2 guys I really want to tip my hat to, Cole Hudson and DJ Campbell. Okay, look, they were challenged this week. Yep. Nick Brooks is a nice story, true freshman. Mm-hmm. But DJ Campbell and Cole Hudson are seniors. Dominic Williams, Jaden Jackson, David Stone, probably all good players. Yeah. You heard their name called maybe once or twice yesterday. Cole Hudson, DJ Campbell, congratulations, guys. Y'all played like seniors and went out the way you did. Another thing I would add, tip of the cap. Another thing I would add, Rod, is, DJ Campbell was injured.
Yeah, he was. He was limping around.
He would not come out. He looked over the sideline once and just kind of shook his head and went back in.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? I respect it too, because that's your last time playing in that game. Oh no. No, coach. Y'all got to call a timeout and come get me physically off of this field if y'all want me to be on that sideline. And I'm a senior, but that just shows you what type of football character you're dealing with DJ Campbell.
Yeah, they wanted this one. They wanted this when they went out and showed it. All right, real quick, Rod, I want to say thanks again to our sponsor, and that is our friends over at Duck Camp. Make sure you use code ONTexas25. That's ONTexas25 for 25% off of Duck Camp. Duck Camp gear is made for the people that live for the moments out there where there are fish to catch, birds to hunt, time to kill, and football to watch. They like doing all of that stuff. It's based here in Austin and dedicated to giving people best-in-class hunting and fishing apparel. Again, make sure you reach out and check out duckcamp.com. Use promo code OTF25 for 25% off. All right, Rod, any final thoughts before we let folks go today?
No, I mean, other than I really do think they have found a formula, an identity, kind of a recipe that works for them. And I say it ain't gonna be pretty, and it ain't gonna be exactly how we all thought it would look with Arch Manning, being a #1 overall prospect in the NFL draft and Heisman Trophy contender. No, but he is now playing winning football. He actually has been for the last 2 games, in my opinion. And if he does that, and then you get the defense you got yesterday with that kind of effort on the lines of scrimmage, well, they're not going to be perfect either because they're still going to make some mistakes. But you get that kind of fanatical effort. This team is going to they have a bright future.
Plus Trey Wisner's return. He's got a little running mate now with Trey Wisner. You know what I mean?
That guy's unbelievable.
It's not just Arch trying to wing it. He's got a run game now.
We should do a video just on Trey Wisner. He's your third down savior because he keeps you out of 3rd and long a lot of the times. It's him.
Yeah. Good point. All right. Maybe we'll do that, Rod, for everybody. Hey, later tonight, you're back with Jerry Hamilton doing the Sunday night live stream. They'll be taking your questions, so please feel free to get those in on Sunday night's live stream. For Rod Babers and our producer, Matt Hutchison, I'm Bobby Burton. Texas wins 23-6. Woo! Hook 'em. It was just as sweet the second time around, Rod.
Damn right.